You know the sparring footage. Have you seen some of that sparring footage that came out between Gane and Ngannou?
No,
It
I didn't know it came out.
listen, man. It was very short and it was very favorable to Cyril Gane. But you could tell it was light sparring. It wasn't hard sparring. You know what I mean? There's a difference between when Francis Ngannou can touch you, versus when he just kind of got to paw at you a little bit. And we've seen one of the biggest takeaways that I had from it is that Francis Ngannou during this time, and we don't know when necessarily this was taken, but he looked so untechnical, so you know what I mean, amateurish in comparison to the technicality of Cyril Gane. But then it got me thinking. Well, when he fought Alistair Overeem, was he the most technical? No. When he fought Jairzinho Rozenstruik and destroyed him in like 10 seconds, was he technical whatsoever? Absolutely not. The only time we've seen Francis Ngannou truly be technical, and if we even necessarily calling it that, like truly technical, if we're calling it that, was against Stipe Miocic in that last fight, right? Where, you know what I mean, he was throwing straight punches, those nice hooks, you know what I mean? When he got Stipe down, he circled out to the back. Everyone's mind was blown. That's all he had to do. He just had to circle out to the back. AJ, they teach you to do that in like day one of jiu-jitsu class, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's just what I'm saying. It's like we saw just a little bit of that hope, of that possibility of like, oh, he can actually be technical. This is going to be the scariest man in the world. So I think that the tailored footage, not tailored as in it was, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say. It's not tailored, but it was just favorable towards Cyril Gane. That outlook, on top of you didn't really see when this video was taken, on top of has Francis Ngannou improved and become more technical, on top of if he touches you one time, you're going to sleep. We saw that left hook to Stipe Miocic. He just kind of ran into it, just like a little doop, done, crumpled over. I still think that Cyril Gane, man, even though he is the future of the division, this is such a tough matchup, man. For anybody to just go one way either side is tripping. But with that being said, my man, do you think that title is going to change hands? You know, I know we didn't really mention it for any of these, but does that title change hands not because of a contract dispute or anything like that, but because of in-cage action?
Man, I've been thinking about this for a while too, because it's Cyril Gane is so confident coming into this. So then when they were going hard sparring, and even if that was not the video that was displayed, even they are going, he knows that he has a little something on Francis Ngannou. Now, how long ago was that? That's up to say, man, because Francis Ngannou traded camps, gotten better, and I think probably the best thing Francis Ngannou could have done is trade that camps and kind of see something else that's going on, because there's nothing worse than when you're sparring the dude, the only other heavyweight you got in camp, and this guy is just a little bit more technical than you, a little bit faster, a little bit this. He's going to be on the rise soon, and you just can't get him in practice, and then that way he grows as well as you're growing in practice. It's a hard fight right there. So it's interesting, because I feel like Cyril Gane has the mental advantage going into this one, but Francis Ngannou has that dog aspect of like, yeah, I'm beating this dude's ass when it counts. When the money's on the line, when it counts, that's when I'm beating this dude's ass. So then, do I think the title changes hands? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes, man. And even that, it's a hard battle I'm going through in my mind, because I do think Francis Ngannou has improved greatly. Like we've seen with some of the biggest things we saw. All of the fights he's had, man, he's throwing these big looping hooks. All he needs to do is just touch you one time, and that's when it goes down. And then we saw like you said, in the Stipe Miocic, everything was tight, crisp. And like you said, man, everybody's impressed with just a back take. And like it's day one shit. But then Francis Ngannou was growing even more so after that. Going to be a hard fight. You said it correct, Derek. You can't choose one way or the other definitively. I'm up in the air right now, but right now I'm leaning a little bit more towards Cyril Gane, because I picked against him last time. It was a little rough.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and it's tough because in that situation, right? Like I'm in the same boat, right? I picked for Cyril Gane. I'm a super big fan of Cyril Gane. I picked him since I picked against him, and I don't remember which fight that one was. It could have been like, I don't know if he fought Rozenstruik already, but it was one of those fights where I picked against him, and then he massively beat the dude. It could have been Tanner Bozer. It could have been something like that, right? And I was like, okay, you can't pick against this dude. This dude is too polished, too nice, too good. And then he started beating everybody, right? And I kept picking him, and he just keeps winning, right? And I was just like, well, this is kind of what happens. But then again, one last rebuttal question to you, AJ. Have you ever seen in his MMA career Francis Ngannou ever even be the closest thing to hurt? Outside of being tired from cardio, have you ever even seen him close to being like, ooh, even like, oh, that punch hurt, like anything?
Maybe a little bit in the Stipe fight, but not really, man. Nothing that where I was like, oh yeah, this
Yeah,
one time. No, yeah, for the most
bro.
part, nah.
So we all thought that that's when Stipe went and re-engaged with Francis and got slumped over. Francis in the post-fight interview, he was like, I don't know if this dude thought he hurt me or something, but he was tripping, man. He came back in and I just knocked his ass out. Like, it was like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'll just put that out there. Lastly, Cyril Gane, he did comment on that sparring footage, and he did say that, yes, I will admit that this footage was favorable towards me. You know what I mean? We both had our moments in our sparring. Sometimes he'd get the better, sometimes I'd get the better. It'd just be kind of back and forth. But either way, he says that his game plan, if works properly, involves not getting hit and being able to work his game. And I was like, you know what, man, that sounds so familiar to how I felt the second Stipe and Francis fight was going to go. And I was like, he just has to stay perfect for 5 rounds. And then I was like, wait, that's a very hard thing to do, especially in a tiny little cage in Vegas. So listen, man, we'll put the heavyweight championship talk aside.